Hello guys, good morning. So let's continue with our job listing project, right? Today I'm going to work on the edit part. Let's look at the document first. So I'll go here. Okay, in the Marley stack project, right? Yeah, edit. Okay, so refresh. I think everything is there. Yeah. So we have created the edit page.txs, right? So in the job listing, employer job listing inside ID, right? Edit folder and then this one. Okay, so when you click edit, let me go live view, right? And npm run there, and also I'm going to add one more, npm run ingest. Oh, I'm not running the database, right? I need to run the docker. I'm just working today now, right? After weekend, today only I'm opening this. You can see, right? I have basically done nothing. That's okay. Let's continue this week again, right? So guys, what we will do now, a database is running. Let's check if this work, right? Live view, localhost 3000, and it should pick up, right? So I'm going to click and try to go to the employer dashboard. Let's see. Yeah, so it's logged in, right? Now job list. Okay, so you can see this job list right here. When you click this edit, see, if I go if I hover here, right, can you see something? Maybe. Okay, let's click this, right? If it will take us to the edit folder, right? So you have the dynamic number here, the ID, right? And the edit, and inside this edit you're gonna get the page, right? From there you see this edit text. Okay, so everything looks fine. This is the edit, right? So how exactly this will work, I'm gonna summarize it quickly, right? uh, and then it will be easy to work through the code. Just copy paste everything. I think you should understand. So we have what the until now we have created the form, right? Form. Okay, we have the form. Just think of this. When you click on the edit, right, the same form you're gonna get, you will use the same form, right? Form. From edit, what we will do, when you click edit button, the form will display here. This form gonna display, right? So we're gonna pass the data to the form, right? Let's say job listing data, right? You're gonna pass to the form, job listing data, right? For that particular job, you're gonna pass the data to the form, same form. So if there is a job listing, right, data, then we're gonna work on the update. We're gonna call the update function from the action, right? Server action. Okay, so you're gonna call what? Update function. If there is no job listing data, then we are creating new, right? Creating new. So same form will be used for both creating and updating. Okay, so if there is no job listing, then it will be just create a new create new job listing, right? That is all. So now, right, uh, the first thing is getting data, then sending to the form, then make a update there, and then you're gonna submit the form, right? And the data will pass to the update function from the uh, let's call it from the server action, right? So those are the steps we're going to take this. Okay. So we have a page. We already have a form, right? So let's work through that now. So in the edit page, right, I'm going to copy this code and I will explain it quickly. Okay. Let's go back and I'll replace everything here. So similar to, like create new page, right? Remember when you create a new page, what is the new here? You had a, like card content job listing form, you call the form, right? Here you're not passing any data, okay, because we're creating new one, right? So that is all. And then in the form, yeah, that was the new form. Okay, that is fine. If we go to here, right, this is the job listing. In the job listing, we have the job listing page. You have suspense, right, because you want to wait to get all the data, and in the suspense you are passing the everything, right, like basically all the props. Okay, and this is the suspense functions where you're gonna display or rest of your page, right? You have markdowns, you have the maybe list of items, all of those. Okay, you have this function get job listing function also, right? Also we have validation for your cache. It's similar process. So let's look at just this edit, right? So no, not there. Edit page, go to the edit page. I'll close this. So we can have card content DB, right, for from the drizzle to communicate with our database. Job listing table from our schema. Job listing form we're gonna need, right, to pass the data. Job listing tag, okay, job listing ID tag, right, for caching also we will get from the cache, right, DB cache. Get current organization from clerk leave get auth, right? So we in these functions in services clerk leave get current auth, right? Get current organization, you can get that. Next, and an equivalent from drizzle, you can get these variables, or we can call it like a clause, right? Different clause, different condition, okay, where something happened and something, right, equal to some value. These are the clause for database page, okay? Or when you insert something, right, you want to make sure you apply these clause to validate something before inserting or getting, right? Cache tag from the cache tag from this next cache tag, not found function from the next navigation suspense, we're gonna need that, right? So see, when you go to the edit page, right, there you have the ID, this ID, right? Where is that? Here. Okay, so this already display, right? It display, but with the form is displayed already. Okay, when you click on edit, but we don't have the data like popping up here, right? So this, based on this ID, we're gonna fetch data. So how you gonna grab data inside this page, right? So that is the props. Okay, our data will be params, which is promise, right? And we call it job listing ID. Why job listing ID? Why this name? Because the dynamic name for our folder or route, our route is job listing ID. Look at here, this one. That's the dynamic name. If there is ID, then we have to put ID here. Whatever name inside this folder, right? That is your dynamic, the number which is changing all the time. Okay, and that will be promise now. Promise data, promise object, right? Basically, so in edit job listing page, you have access to that number or the props, fine, and that props you're going to pass to the suspense page because you want to load, or basically you want to load all the data, right, before the page render. So you must put in the suspense from the React, right? And this is Satsian card, we know that, right, already. Good, that is all. Simple div and h1. Next, suspense function, right? So let's work on that. So suspense function is getting the same params which you pass here. Same thing. You can validate with the props which you define separately here. You can extract the job listing ID, right? Because params is an object. You can destructure it and get the job listing ID. Org ID from current, get current organization. This is from the clerk, right? If no org id, then return page not found, just return from here, don't do anything, job listing function, right? And you pass id, job listing id and org id. Okay, so let's look at the job listing function here now. And finally, once job listing function job is to get the data, right? Because now you have id, you have organization id, it's time to get the data. Okay, so you're gonna get data from the table, job listing table, right? Based on this organization id, and that data, right, will be supplied to our job listing form now. That's it. So we're going to go back to our job listing form and work there, right? So in the feature component, right, job listing form is here. So we have to modify our job listing form now, right? So the form, where is the function? Let's see, with this function. Okay, this function is, this function is now for dual purpose. One is just inserting the new job listing, and also for update, right? So during update, you're gonna get the parameter here, right? You're gonna get some value. So we have to work on that now. So we let's define. So let's update our job listing form to accept the job listing data. Only pick the property we need for our form field, right? Okay. So there are many fields. We're just gonna need whatever we need for our form field. That is all we're gonna keep it, right? Update use form default value. Next, update this on submit function also, right? Because default value must be updated. If you look at the default value here, this is the default value, right? So if we have job listing, if something you receive, just use that one. Else you can use this one, right? This empty one. Okay, we can update that. And finally is the submit, right? So we have to check if if there is job listing, then we're gonna call the like update form listing function. Else this is a create form listing function. So we're gonna just put the logic there, right? So let's first work on this part. So I'll just copy this code. Okay, uh, so I don't have to. So job listing, we're getting job listing from the props, right? Up to this point, that is all we're gonna pass inside that function here. Okay, so now job listing table is missing, we're going to import, right? So import job listing table, right, from diesel schema. And then so this job listing data which we're getting, right, what is their types, or that is from coming from the job listing table, right? So we say type of job listing table and infer select. Okay, so we applying the pick, right? We say okay, just pick whatever we need. So from where? From job listing table. And the picking items will be title, description, all these items we're going to pick, right? So this is how you write, or this is how you pick something, only things you're going to need. Okay, now it's time to update. Now we have the job listing, right? It's time to update our default value. So here, default value, right, we're going to say uh, if there is a job listing, right? Let's see. Yeah, we just put that default value job listing, just put that, right? Else it will use the other one, right? Okay, either use this one, if there is this job listing, use that, or else use this object, right? This object. Okay, so that is done. Next is the updating this function and submit function, right? So let's, before we update, we don't have the, what you call that, we don't have the function, right, to update. Okay, so let's work on that. So in the action here, right, in the action, uh, in the feature, we have to go back to the feature action, right? And then action, this action. Until now, we just have action for creating, right? That is the, let's go back, create job listing. Almost same process, okay? We will work on the update job listing, right? Same process. So what I will do, uh, if something I need from this import, I will look at later. But for now, I'm just gonna, okay, job listing, get job listing, right? So job listing, job listing. Okay, I will just copy all those because now we're working on update parts. Let's put here. Let's go from top, right? So update job listing function. This function is going to receive, you know, when you call this function, right? Now inside here, okay, in the submit, in place of create, you're gonna also call the update, right? So let's see. You will pass the ID, right, and the data also. Okay, you're gonna get data, right? So data, what type of data is that? Job listing schema, right? Job listing schema. We have job listing schema imported here already. So that is the type of data. So you have to infer that, okay? So once we have that, you're gonna get current organization from the, you know, function, right? We have here uh, this function, okay, which is coming from the clerk leave, right? Service clerk leave, okay? And here you have that get from this function. So we have created that before. We have used already many times, right? Next. So if there is no organization, we just return it, the message, error message, right? And now we're going to safe parse the data from job listing schema, right? So schema dot safe parse and pass the data here. If no success, then return. Else you're going to have the data now, right? So job listing await insert job listing. So we're going to call this function, okay? Right, we're going to call that insert job listing function. You pass the data, you pass the organization ID, which you have already on the top, and status is draft, right? Fine. Then let's see. I hope I'm looking at the, oh, maybe I'm looking at the create, right? Just give me a second. Both are same, okay? Both are almost same, right? So update here. Sorry guys, here. That's why I said draft, then I got confused. Update job listing, right? Same thing, okay? Has organization permission? I have to import that, right? So let's import that. Hmm. Where is that import? Let me check. So service clerk, you know, or user permission, right? I mean, right now we don't need this one, you know. Okay, let me check, right? One more, give me a second, guys. So what I will do for now, I'm gonna get rid of this, right? Or, let's see. Yeah, so let's get rid of this. We're gonna come back to this later, right? We don't need that. Just if null, then just return, right? That is all we have to do. And then we're gonna save parse the data, right? If false, then return it. You know, if there is no data success, right, then return it. Else you're gonna get the, you're gonna call this get job listing function, right? Which we're gonna create later. uh, I mean here, right? Okay, we come back to that later. If no job listing or job listing equal to null, then return it again, error message. Fine. So this is just to check, right, if we have job listing or not, we regarding this ID and the organization ID, right? We're just checking that. Okay, that is all. Next is update job listing function now, right? This function we have to create inside our DB, right? So inside here in the DB, okay, in the job listing. We can come back to that later. But let's work on this get job listing, right? So get job listing, you pass ID and org ID, which you can get here. Cache tag, right? So we have to import now. We have to import a DB and all the equal, right? All those things. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just gonna start importing here. So we're gonna need this too, right? Okay, what I will do, I'm just gonna copy. I don't know if I think there is a redirect already, but let's do that. Hashtag, all those we're gonna need, right? So okay, now let's see. We are missing and, right? So we're gonna just put equal to next, next to equal, right? EQ. We also import and. Okay, it's coming from the same place. So finally, we have a cache tag also, get from job listing tag, right? You pass the ID. Now job listing table, see DB query, right? Job listing table, find first where, and you're gonna pass the ID from the job listing table, right? Uh, Basically this job listing ID will be this ID, and job listing organization ID will be org ID, right? So we're gonna get job listing here, okay? So now once we have job listing, uh, and we check if there is null, then return it, nothing to do, right? Else we're gonna move to the update job listing now. You're gonna call the pass the ID and the data, right? Our data is here. The data we just what do you call that? We just save parse this data. All right, and ID we have inside our function. When you update, right? So okay, we don't for now we don't need this. Let's remove it. So in the update function, create in the update function, right? You're gonna have the ID here, okay? So we got data and ID also, right? It's time to work on this update job listing DB, right? So that will be inside our DB job listing and here. So let's check that function. So now this is the final function which will be doing the update part, right? So we have to import now. So let's import, right? Import DB, insert. Why is giving error, guys? Oh, twice. We don't need all this. We have already, right? We just need equal, right? So we just need this one, okay? Let's put it on the top here. So update job listing function, there is a DB, okay? When we import, right, we convert this because the function name is same here and there. So we're gonna, we make sure we change the name, right? You don't want to have the same name with this one, okay? Job listing, update job listing, right? So we're gonna change the name. So this function is going to get the ID and the data, right? Okay. And then you will call the DB and go to update function, pass the from the update job listing table, right? Which table you want to update, okay? So table name you have to pass to the update, then set and provide the data, and also you validate, right? Like you check which job listing table ID should be equal to the above ID, and once the returning, right? Once you update, return the this information, right? And finally you revalidate with the updated listing, right? Which is here, because you are returning here, okay? you are returning ID and organization ID, which will be inside this updated listing. You have to pass for revalidation your data, right? And return the updated listing as well. So now we're going to import this function here, right? Let's do that. So we will say, uh, I think that is the name, right, of the function. Let's check here because the name is updated job listing DB, right? This is the one. Okay, so we can just change the name. So update job listing as this one. Okay, so that should be fine, I believe. Okay, guys, so this is okay now, right? Updated job listing DB, which is gonna get ID and data. This function job is to, like insert to the database, right? That is all. Finally, now inside our form, right? It's time to create job listing. We're gonna get the update job listing, right? Function. Okay, so let's get that same place. So we're gonna say update job listing. Okay, so here, right? We're gonna now work on that. I mean, if you look at the form now, I think you should see the data, right? Let's refresh one time. You can see the data, right? See that? You get everything here. So when I click this button, these updated should go, right? But how? We have not used on the submit function yet. So yeah, so let's quickly work on that part, right? So let's quickly work. Okay, so I think what was the missing part now, right? Okay, guys, let's go back here. I mean, thing is to update our form, right? So create job listing is here. We have to put some logic now. Okay, so let's, I mean, in our form, right, we have the job listing. So we'll check now. We will check, okay, this job listing is true or not. So we say const, maybe let's call it action, right? Whatever action we're gonna get, if there is job listing, if that is true, right, then we're gonna call our update function, update job listing function. Okay, and then we're gonna supply with something, bind the data, right? So the data should be like job listing dot id. We have to supply with the id. Okay, else if there is no job listing, then we're gonna just call out create job listing. Fine. So whatever function it will get this action, right? Now no more here create job listing, should be action. An action gonna get data and it will do the job, right? So I think that is all we have to do, guys. Let's try to fix this now. I mean, let's update. I'm just gonna change the title, full stack development update, right? Okay, and let's click on this. So it should take us to the, you can see the update now, right? It's working. Okay, guys, so update part is done. Next we're gonna work on the whatever next we're gonna look at, right? We'll see. So I will create a new folder again, because edit, that is all for the edit, right? The next topic will come on the next file. Okay, let me add the video here, right? Okay, I'll just go and add video.